Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our to all of you. And thank you for joining us here today at this session on filmmaking. And before we start, I would like to introduce Youthopedia. It's a community and platform for young India. We create content and stories which guide students in the field of education, career direction, job, internship opportunities, talent development, and expert advice on soft issues. We aim to build careers and passion driven lives with the prime focus on youth upliftment, and our mission is to become a main source of guidance for the overall development of today's generation. And it is in these times of uncertainties, we believe that it can be leveraged by gaining knowledge and guidance at home by the experts. So we have with us today Mr. Sanjay Mathew, a filmmaker and editor having 2 decades of experience. Sanjay has directed the award-winning short films Enough is Enough and Metro Cafe that won Best Screenplay Award at the prestigious IFEFA Australia. Over to you, Sanjay.
Yeah. Hi, this is Sanjay Matthews. I've been making ad films, corporate films, television shows, and I made 2 feature films, Swapnagal and Sandrasam in Malayalam. And I've been around for the longest time, 20 years now. So there's a lot of misconceptions about, actually there is a lot of myths surrounding filmmaking, that this is the worst place in the world. I tell you guys, this is the most beautiful place. This is the most beautiful place to be in, the best profession to be in. And the biggest, there's a lot of myths surrounding cinema, and a lot of assistants asking me, what is my future ahead? Most of the guys coming to us, they have a plan B, so probably they join cinemas for probably 6 months, 1 year, and they try their luck. So what happens is, even, at the first stage itself, you are being defensive. So it is just like any other profession. It's a profession. This is not some place, where you want to pass some time, you want to meet a few celebrities, you want to shake hands with them, you want to click pictures with them. No, this is not that place. And they enter the industry, with 2 mindsets, and then probably meet a few people, and then they decide, okay, this is not the place I want to be in. Like, I'm not welcome, and this is a place that is full of nepotism, and this is not a place for me. So what I would say, if you want to be in this line, I'm not being philosophical here. If you want to be in this line, you have to put in your 100%. You have to keep updating yourself. This is one line where you have to put 200%. And when other places, and if you go to other professions, probably you can duck a few things, probably you can get away with a few things, but not in the sense because you're exposed, because you're all alone. As a director, I'm all alone sitting on that chair, and there are 300 people looking at me. What is this guy going to do? You can imagine the situation. So people who want to be in this line, who want to join filmmaking, who want to become a film director, make up your mind. I tell you, this is the best profession, is the best place to be in, and make up your mind that you are to give in your 200%. So everybody is talking about, there are a lot of cliches, when you join the industry, people keep giving you advices. There are a lot of advices coming in. Every time people just want to talk, people just want to give you advices in this industry, because it is scattered. It is not an industry per se. There are few people who come together, and a lot of people who don't understand cinema, including the producers who don't understand cinema, they want to be here because just for the sake of being famous. No, fame is different. This is different. They're entirely 2 different things. So a lot of people come to you. They keep giving you advices over advices. They tell you go and meet a person. You have to be like this. You have to write that, including the script. Including script writing. They tell you have to write like this. It has to start at this point. It has to have an interval like this. It has to have an end like this. I tell you, it is not like that. Do not listen to anyone. Just listen to yourself. Are you convinced that you can do this? Are you convinced what you're writing will translate into cinema? If you are convinced, then do it. Else, don't come. Don't join this industry. It is as tough as it can be. All right, this is it. I think there are
All
many more
right.
questions
And
are going to come, and yeah.
yeah, Sanjay. So I just want to ask you, like, how, if one wants to make his career in filmmaking,
Yeah,
what start one should take?
he has to ask himself, why does he want to get into filmmaking? Like, how is it different from other industries? It's like you join a company, yeah, I'm an engineer, all right? Now, I'll join an engineering company, all right? So I know a few things, these are things to follow. But in filmmaking, every day is a surprise, all right? As an art filmmaker, I tell you, today I'm doing a washing machine ad film. Tomorrow I'm doing some other, probably a diamond. Third day I'm doing a jewelry film. So every day is a surprise. So most importantly, my thing is, why do you want to join films? Just for the glitz and glamour? There is no glitz, no glamour. Are you joining just for the sake of money? No, you will get, you get paid anywhere else in the world. So why do you want to be in films? That's the first question you need to, address yourself. If you're able to answer that, then come in. Then I'll go to the next level. The thing is, if you want to join movies, what do you want to be like? There are so many segments. One is the script writing. The other one is cinematography. The third part is art direction. Then there is a director. And then there are executive producers. You want to be on the backstage. You want to be in the lighting department. So these things are very important for you because this is one place where you will be exposed. You know, you cannot duck that. Because you're given a job, you have to do it, and you are you will have assistance, but the decision taking has to come from your end. So that part is very important. So what you need to understand, you need to be very clear in your mind. Why do you want to be in films? So if you answer that question, then you go to the next stage.
All
Because
right.
no amount of training, no amount of, I'm talking about the specialized jobs, all right? So no amount of training, no amount of, probably watching YouTube videos and no amount of like being in films. There's a lot of assistant directors who've been around for like 20, 25 years, you know. So you need to understand the craft, you need to learn the craft first. Most importantly, you have to keep updating yourself every now and then, keep updating yourself. Are you prepared to do all that? But beyond all that, this is the best profession and the best place to be in.
All right. And how do you end up here in filmmaking? I mean, how you think that you need to make your career in filmmaking only? So can
Uh,
you?
yeah. For me, there is something called destiny. I definitely believe in destiny. I'm an engineer. I am a mechanical engineer by profession. Um, yeah, I always wanted to be in films. I started theater, and theater became my calling. And then I made a few short films initially. And when I look back, they were all amateur stuff. But I felt there was that kind of storytelling inside me, and I realized that this is what uh, want to do, and I want to be, and I just took the plunge. I was confident. That's what I'm saying. I was confident that I would do it, come what may. And there've been more downs than ups, but again, at the end of the day, the conviction is very important. So and then it started. The first film, it was an art film for me. Again, that was a big jump for me. My debut thing was not even a short film; it was an art film. So that gave me that confidence, uh, to look forward to the next one. Or the next one was a documentary. So that's the difference. So most importantly, is the conviction. Is that conviction is very important.
Right, right. And now we have questions pouring in now, Sanjay. So the first question I would like to take is, what is the difference in making of web series and a film?
Well, in terms of most importantly, the soul has to be intact, whether you're making a web series or a feature film. Now, web series, if you count technically, we're talking about, say, 7 episodes in a season, 7 for the 28. That's almost 4 hours, or probably two feature films. Two feature films in there. Web series, the biggest, the most difficult, I would say, is uh, to keep the audience on their feet for like 44 minutes and forcing them to watch the click onto the next episode. That is the biggest challenge in web series, making web series. But as a filmmaker, if you ask me, um, for me, making a getting into a feature film stuff or a web series or an action, for me, the approach remains the same. There is no difference from a filmmaker's perspective. Here, I have a 2.5 hour script with me. There, I have a 6 hour script with me. For an art film, I have a 60-second script with me. For me, it remains storytelling. So, from a filmmaker's perspective, it's all about, telling a story through web series or an art film or a feature film. The process of filmmaking, again, it all starts with a script. Yeah. And to all the script writers who are sitting here, to all the filmmakers, the only thing is you write a script to say you spend a month or 2 or 3. At the end of the day, you ask a question to yourself, what is the film about? If you're able to answer that, then it's a script. That script could be, made into a film. If you're able to answer that in one line, what is the script about, or what is the movie about? Fine. So that means you are ready. So you're convinced about this thing is going to work. Everybody's going to ask you one thing: what is the movie about? You should be able to answer that question in one sentence. My movie is about this. That's it. Now you go to, if you're a writer, you go to you approach a producer, because the director will come and probably mostly writers or the directors also these days. Otherwise, if you're a writer, you approach a director, and the director, if he's convinced, all right, he is willing to work on the script, then you approach a producer. Now, the biggest issue with most of the first timers, people who are making movies for the first time, you approach a producer and you narrate a script to him, and most of the times you find that the producer does not react to your script. But let's understand one thing. When you're approaching a producer, the producer is all excited. All producers, they want to listen to a good script, okay? Leave aside all the nepotism, leave aside all the connections. I tell you, all these things don't matter. What matters at the end of the day is a good script. So you approach a producer, and the producer, if he does not react to it, it shouldn't matter to you. Go and approach the next producer, go and approach the third producer, the fourth producer, because every producer, probably he has a different story idea in mind. Probably he wants to make a different kind of film from what you are narrated. So once the producer likes the thing, so for once you got the right producer on board, when I say, the producer who has got distribution set up, that's the most difficult part. Making a film is fine. It is almost 50% of the job. Then the rest 50% is releasing a film, which is the most difficult thing in the world. So when I say a right producer, one who's got a good distribution network. So once you have the producer on board, then the next important thing is, at this stage, I tell you, the director is not that important. The director is not that important, because now you're going to the actors. Now the actor, you narrate this thing to the actor. Now again, it depends what the actor is looking for. I tell you one thing: all actors are looking for a good script. So don't hold yourself back. Keep narrating. Keep sending scripts to all the actors. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to the casting directors. Try to get hold of the email IDs. It's available everywhere, and avoid sending messages to them. Avoid sending messages to people, because I don't think so. many of them would even revert back. So even, a lot of people get upset when actors or producers don't revert back. I mean, like us, like you, I mean, they will be meeting a lot of other writers. He'll be meeting a lot of other directors. He'll be meeting a lot of other actors. So, I mean, don't get kind of bugged because they are not reverting back. So now then you're going to an actor and you narrate your story to them. Again, while you're narrating, you don't have to act. You have to feel it. The actor will understand. The actor will understand whether the narrator is actually feeling it, whether the narrator is actually passionate about it. The narrator could be the scriptwriter, the narrator could be the director. If the director, all directors are not good narrators. So what you can do is, you probably can get a scriptwriter or probably can get a good narrator on board. At the end of the day, the narration has to be good, as in it shouldn't be, you don't have to act. You just have to tell the story. You just have to tell the story. You have to make them feel, okay, this is the story about. So, it needn't start from A and, go to Z. It can start from M, come back to A, and then, end up at Z. The story could be anything. But the thing is, what is most important for an actor is whether the writer or the director actually understood whether the actor or the director actually felt the script while writing. That's important. Once they connect, the moment they give a green signal, that's most important. They give a green signal, the producer takes over, and then you make a movie. That's it. So we won't get to the other part of it because that is after you make the film.
Yes, and
there's so much to talk. There's so much to talk.
So what things we should keep in mind while relooking at your script and or screenplay?
It should have a soul. That's important.
Yeah,
that's important because a lot of people, before they, start writing a script, they asked me one question, Sanjay sir, which software should I use? I tell you, you don't need a software to write a script. These days you have Final Draft, you have Celltech, there's so many softwares. So there you are, looking out for a software, and then, then you try and learn that stuff, and then you want to write. Let's understand one thing: you can write your script on a paper. The most important part is, there is dearth of good scripts. We all are facing this problem. So it has to have more substance than style. Style is secondary. It has to have substance. It has to have soul. It should touch. So it can be, it can be on a paper also. So once you're convinced that, this thing is going to work, then you can probably, take your own sweet time, probably learn your FDR, learn your cell text, and probably type it or can give it to your assistant. They can do the job. Your job as a writer or as a filmmaker is to make a good script. That's it.
All right.
Yeah, and why do you need a software is because, once you finish writing the script, you want to send it across to different production houses. So I tell you, you don't need an FDR, you don't need an Excel text software. You can write it on another thing, on a Word file, and you can send it. Nobody will ever complain. Forget about spelling mistakes, forget about commas, forget about exclamation marks. Those things don't matter at the end of the day.
Okay, so I'll ask another question to Jyoti. Jyoti, can you hear me?
There's a huge issue, internet connectivity issue.
Yeah, I guess. So we'll take another question from you. Yeah. So Sanjay, it's for you. So can vlogging be a path towards filmmaking?
No. But what has blogging got to do with filmmaking?
No. Okay. All right. So, and which is the most?
But you're a blogger. You can no. But if you're a blogger, you cannot become a film actor. No. Can you narrate? Can you narrate your story? Can you translate your story into action? That's important. So you're a filmmaker. So your blogging is a profession. All right. You keep blogging. I mean, I also blog. I do blogging once in a while. But the filmmaker inside me is different. So blogging is different. It's a profession. It's an entirely different profession. But a blogger can be a filmmaker. Yeah, why not? You have to be a
And
good storyteller.
yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take another question. Which is the most hardest part while in process of filmmaking, and how to prepare a storyboard and a screenplay?
Ah, every aspect of filmmaking is tough. Every aspect of filmmaking is tough. I tell you, starting from the screenplay, um, to even hiring a spot boy to an assistant, that's the most crucial part of filmmaking. That's the most difficult part of filmmaking. Hiring the right people for the job. You know, it's a nightmare when you get the wrong people on board. It's a nightmare. It can be a nightmare because you're going to be working for like 6 months with the same people. And I would tell you, this is the most, for me, that's the most difficult part. There are all good people. I mean, they're all good people. They're the best technicians around, I tell you. But it's about getting the right people for your job, and then, putting across things, you want to communicate things with them, and for some reasons, if you're not able to do so, it affects the end product. And for me, that's the most difficult part, getting the right people on board. If you have the right people, even an average thing, which, um, you can at least make an above average. Yeah. So for me, that's the most difficult part, getting the right people on board, because it goes beyond friendship. It's not just about friendship. It's about understanding what you want. So for a filmmaker, for a director, I think that's the most crucial part and the most difficult part. That's including actors also.
All right, and so I'll take another questions. We are so many questions coming up, so
Yeah,
we'll do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We'll try to do it like quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll take another question. What are
I
the
have, I
essentials? Yeah, yes, Sanjay.
sorry. I have so much to speak. Yeah, you can go on.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'll just take the questions quickly now.
yeah.
What are the essentials someone need to know while learning filmmaking?
I really don't believe in this thing that you have to learn filmmaking. I'm talking from a filmmaker's perspective. All right. Can you narrate a story well? Are you a good storyteller? Uh, you need to get okay. Most importantly for a filmmaker, I tell all my assistants, uh, when you get a film owner, I'm talking about first time filmmakers, BMM kids, just out of college, who want to make a short film. Everybody is after uh, a camera, everybody is after lensing, everybody is after, getting a shallow depth of field. Nobody's talking about a script, which is the most important thing. So, one second. Yeah. So, learning the art of filmmaking, I tell you one thing. Again, I'm not being philosophical. Just ask yourself, are you a good story narrator? And then you get all the right people on board, including a cameraman, including an art director, including a sound guy. To all the budding filmmakers, please get a sound recordist. I watch a lot of short films. You have the best camera, you have the best setup, you have the best actors, but you don't concentrate on sound. Please get a good sound. This thing, sound is so important. Sound is so important to filmmaking. So, for anybody who wants to learn filmmaking, again, join a good production house, and you will learn nothing. They won't teach you. You have to learn everything on your own. They won't teach you anything because everything is on a field, whatever you learn. But otherwise, to become a good filmmaker, there are two different things. Become a good filmmaker to be a good storyteller.
All right. And
Do I have to read this? Do I have to read all this? What is coming on your thing? The questions? No.
you can take it directly, or if you want me to ask, I would be
Yeah, I
happy
think
to
that's
do
the
that.
best way. That's the
Yeah.
best way.
So Sanjay, what is the role of DOP, and how important is he?
Oh, the DOP is, I would say, I would place him up there. He's everything. He's the eye. You know, I mean, for us, we thought of something and the DOP executes it. Basically, the audience is seeing everything through his lens. So the DOP is very important. And even for these budding filmmakers, my only advice is uh, deciding a camera, deciding a lens, deciding, you can tell him what you want, but let him execute the way he wants to. Leave it to him. That's his job. All right. If he wants a shallow depth, he will do it. Your job is to narrate the script, how well you will narrate the script. You have to tell him the setting. You have to tell him what you want. Is it dark cinema? Is it comedy? Is it a thriller? Tell him this is what you want. You can give him references. You can give him all kinds of references. But then deciding on the camera, deciding on the lens and everything, you have to tell him, I want to close something like this. Leave it to him. Let him take over. That's including the actors also. Never tell an actor how to act. Never tell an actor how to act. Tell him what you want. That's why I keep telling again, reiterating again and again and again. The director's job is to make an actor understand the character. What is the character he's going to play? How does the director want the actor to play? Now, don't tell him how to act. He knows his job. Leave it to him. It's a nightmare when an actor asks me. Then I don't consider him an actor. Sir, ऐसा करके बताओ मैं क्या करना चाहिए. I mean, that's it. For me, it's death knell actually. So the same applies to a DOP. He's the most important character. But how well you narrate the script to him, how well you narrate the setting to him, that the DOP will execute in that fashion. So the DOP is the most important person for me on my set.
All right, and there's another question. How do you know your screenplay is now like pitch ready?
There is nothing like a perfect script. The day I'm convinced, I just go and sell it. It's as simple as that. There is nothing like a perfect script. If you're convinced with the first draft, just go ahead and do it. Because every day, that's the best part about we humans. Every morning we get up, we have something new to tell. Every morning, you open your mobile, you have some new TikToks. Every day something new is happening. The same thing applies to your script also. Every day you get up, you want to do something new here. The point is, if you are convinced about it, even with the first draft, please go ahead, because there's nothing like a perfect script. You can narrate it to a few people, and you can take the reaction. Don't take it to your loved ones. They will never say bad about it. Take it to people who hate you, probably who will say bad things about the film. Take it to them, take the reactions, and then if you say, all right, no, I don't think so, that's important, I don't think so, this thing is important, then you can analyze. That's what I'm saying. The moment you're convinced about it, just go ahead. And especially don't put it on Facebook. It does not have a dislike, it only has likes.
Yeah, so someone is asking, if I want to be a screenplay writer, how can I pitch my story to a director? But in India, every director writes their own film. So will I ever get a chance to approach a director?
Yeah, anytime. No director is going with his story. I think the director comes on board only during screenplay writing. Every director is waiting for the right script. Every actor is waiting for a script. So don't listen to people who tell you that it is not possible. Don't listen to people who tell you that it's only directors who directors write their own script. It's not like that. Like But then, how many films get made, that's important, because if I'm working on even for a short film, if I'm working, it takes away almost 2 months of mine. So, and in between I'm doing ad films, in between I'm doing corporates. And so we hardly get to, because in a day I receive around 7 to 8 screenplays, and, there are 7 to 8 screenplays in my inbox. So please do mail across to directors, mail to actors. They're waiting to read the right script. So don't listen to people who tell you not to do it. There is dearth of good scripts in movies, and there is nothing like a perfect script. Let's understand that. And there is nothing like a perfect writing, and there is no rule how to write a script. So if I read a script, like even if it's a 10 page, it has to connect. If it connects, that's a script. It's as simple as that.
All right. And yeah. And how to make a short film with practically low budget?
There is nothing like zero budget. I'm completely and totally, I don't agree with that zero budget thing. Because, at the end of the day, when you make a film, why do you make a film? You don't make this film for to show it to your family, to people on Facebook. That's not the audience. When you make a film, it's a profession, right? So you want to send it out. You want to sell that film as possible. Ultimately, it's a business, right? So you make a film, you want to send it out. You want to send it out to festivals. So when you talk about festivals, feature film is still easy. A short film festival, if you take this film to a short film festival, there are not less than 1,000 films. Not less than 1,000 films. So it's far, all the more difficult to to convince your project on the short film level also. And at the end of the day, when you make a zero budget film, probably you won't have a good DOP. Probably you won't have a good sound thing also. And while you are projecting this film to an audience, you're standing next to the film and explain to the audience, sir, इसमें budget कम था, मतलब मेरे पास पैसा नहीं था, तो I could manage. But you won't be present everywhere, right? You won't be present everywhere. You won't be giving this excuse to everyone, because while you're watching a movie, either you like the film or you don't like the film. Nobody's bothered about how you made it. At the end of the day, what matters is what you are watching. The end product is important. So, if a film requires 1 rupee, you have to spend 1 rupee on it. If the script demands that. So please, let's, keep that thing out of your mind. I mean, that's most important, because you always start a film with a zero budget thing. Then you don't get actors. Then you get your people on board. Then it's not a film. Then it's a script. It's not a film. Film is a blend of so many things. You have actors playing characters. So if it's not an actor, how will you play a character? So I'm completely against it. So I will not even advise that zero budget filmmaking. Yes, you can make a low budget film. Get all your friends together. Friends as in professional friends, professional people who understand cinema, people, a DOP, with a camera. Probably you get a lot of DOPs with a camera who are willing to come on board. Probably you pay them conveyance. You get in touch with the light guys. You explain to them that you're making your first time film, and they will also come. They're all nice people, I said, the best of people. And you can get an art director also, but you get professionals to make your film. That's so important. That thing should not be in your mind. I'm making a zero budget film, so I can't get all these people. Don't get it. I'm completely against it, so I will not even discuss about it. You can make a low budget film, but make a good film. The idea is about making a film. So the film should have all the ingredients, as in all these technicians required, including actors.
All right. And also, usually pre-production is the backbone of filmmaking.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What are the key points to make the pre-production work effectively?
Exactly. It's actually filmmaking is 70% pre-production. That's almost everything. It's like planning, micro level management, micro level planning. That's so important. It's so interesting. That's what I'm saying. So selecting the right assistants, selecting, as I said before, these things are so important. I tell you, starting from the script. to making a the script and screenplay is the same thing. It's nothing different about it. Okay. And for me, you have a screenplay and dividing that screenplay into number of days, then cut it down to number of hours, then cutting down to, the actors required. Storyboarding is different. Storyboarding is for the technicians. Storyboarding, a lot of people do without storyboarding. Well, I have this habit of making storyboards. Um, but most of the actions that we do, we receive ready-made storyboards from agencies. But storyboarding is very important because when you work on a micro level, when it's a micro level filmmaking, there everything is planned to the T. Then actors are so busy, they're available for say 8 hours or 7 hours. So the planning whether you should have two cameras. So when you have two cameras, then you need two DOPs. When you have two DOPs, you need two focus pullers. And I would suggest, I would advise all my the budding filmmakers. You should always make a scratch film. That's the best way forward. Make a scratch film before you go on the set. There's a lot of time wasted discussing about cinema. I think you should go execute. You should make a scratch film with amateurs probably. You will get the right blocking. Okay, this is how I want it. This is how I want the shot to look like. That at that point in time, you can have your assistants, you can have your cameraman sitting there watching all these things happening. They will know, they will get an idea to what will be happening on the final day. So you can have all these actors doing their stuff, all amateurs probably, semi amateurs. You can do a run through, maybe make a scratch film, edit the film, probably with music. So you will get to understand the pauses required. You will know how to move the camera. You don't just put a trolley just because you have trolley, just because you have money, just because the producer said, okay, let's have a trolley. You have a trolley because there's a reason. If you have a build-up music, you want the camera to move probably slowly towards the eye. So you want that music thing to happen. So, storyboarding apart, short division apart, if you can make a scratch film, probably it will cost you a few thousands, but at the end of the day, you would have saved a few lakhs in the final outcome. So my advice to most of you all, because I do it, it's a practice, and most of my friends, we make we do scratch film, we do video boarding, with actors, and then, but we don't know the final outcome. Even at this stage, we don't know the final outcome. It all depends on its magic. You get the actors and it's magic. If you don't get, if you don't get the right technicians, then it could be the biggest blunder. So, but still, on a management level, on a micromanagement level, my advice to you is, don't waste time. Just go ahead and make a scratch kind of thing with your camera, with your mobile phone, and probably edit and watch your stuff, and probably laugh at yourself. Probably then you can go and make changes to your script and go on the final day. So every film you should be doing, even if it's the easiest film to handle, just do a small scratch. I tell you, the output will be different.
Yeah. So I'll take another question now. What all would be the technical graph for a person should look upon in terms of scripting a film till your camera script?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yeah. So what all would be the technical graph for the person should look upon in terms of scripting a film till your camera script?
Again, what is the technical graph?
Yeah, for a person should look upon. So suppose if I'm writing a script, so what all should I do to make it a camera ready script?
No. Don't even get into the technical aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. Style is secondary. Leave that aspect. That's not your job. You don't even have to specify that's old school. That's old school. It's all out now. You don't need to, start with, the camera is tilting up and you can see, Vadia dikh rahi hai aur hawe mein chidiya ud. No. It's not required at all. Stay close to right what you felt. Don't get into the camera, close up camera, long shot camera. No, not interested. That's the second part of it, That's when you do the short division. That's the point the director, you can talk about. If you have an idea about lensing, probably you can have the DOP on board, and probably you guys can discuss, the two of them can discuss about the lensing, whether he needs a close up, an extreme close up and all, so that the DOP is ready with the lenses, whether it needs a fisheye or an extra wide and lens. But while you're writing a script, you don't need to specify all of it. You don't need, because when it gets, see, ultimately it's going to an actor, probably who is like 100 films old or something. He knows everything. Most of them know everything. Then what is the director doing? What's the DOP doing? You don't need to put all of that. Up close up of actor, his eyes and this and that. No, while you're selling it to, keep it as simple as possible. Don't make it technical. That's what I'm saying. Don't make it technical. Nobody's interested. I mean, a lot of we are all part of it. I'm not saying that. When we make a PPT, we are asked to make good backgrounds, and it should be appealing. But what is most important is what is written. What is written inside? That's most important. The first and 2 pages will look good, but once the actor or the studio starts writing, as reading that script or that one-liner, I think for them it's just 2 paras enough for them to decide whether they want to go ahead or not. Let's understand that. So nothing is important for a writer than to write what he wants, what he has in mind. The soul is most important. The soul has to be intact. Did I feel it? Dil ko chua ki nahi? Dil ko chua? Yes, this is a script I want to work on. So don't be bothered about all of that.
All right. And another question is, how can someone join a production house?
How can someone join a production house? They can simply go. Most of them, they're afraid of approaching production houses. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of myths around cinema. Will I get an entry? Because for most of us, cinema is about Bombay Times. What you read in Bombay Times. No, those are just 2 pages. Cinema is beyond and above all of that. So everybody is welcome. You'll be joining as an apprentice. So a lot of assistants, or apprentices who want to join, the only question, there's the first question. There's the first thing they tell me, that I will not hold clapboard. So clapboard is so important. A lot of them don't want to, learn clapboard, and because that's the first thing you have to do, but they don't want to do it. I don't know why, but that's the stage. You have to understand what a clapboard is. So a lot of them don't want to do that.
All right.
Yeah, so that's important. The different stages. You can go and join any production house, and probably it's the same way. You put in your CV, and probably you'll be for some DMM school, or you'll definitely be a newcomer. You'll be a fresher. You'll be taken in as a fresher. But I tell you, the first thing will be a clapboard.
All right. And is there any particular type of camera and lenses do they use in films? And if yes, then there should be any name or model?
Don't. Is the question from the question is from a budding filmmaker, BMM student? Who?
It's from the filmmaker.
From a filmmaker, you don't need to. You don't need to understand lensing. You don't need to understand camera. All you need to understand is whether you're able to narrate. That's a job of filmmaker. If I get into the lensing, there is so much I can tell you. So use this camera, but every DOP, if you talk to a DOP, I should have had a DOP on probably for the next time. I'll definitely get a DOP, and as one of the panelists, because that's what a DOP always says. Leave it to us. Leave it to us. You narrate the story as a filmmaker. You narrate the story to a DOP. Make him understand the settings. Tell him what you want. Because when you watch a film, you should never say, what's cinematography? The moment you say that, the film is a flop, because the cinematography should blend with the story. So if I tell you all the technical aspects of it, you are again forgetting the most important aspect for a filmmaker, that is to narrate a story. So leave it to the cameraman which camera he wants for a particular scene or for a particular setting. Let him decide. Let him decide whether he wants an Arri. Let him decide whether he wants a Sony Alpha 7S. Let him decide what he wants. He is the best person because these days we are so obsessed with the idea of shooting on a 4K, 6K, and everybody's talking about 8K, but we don't have. But what is the final output in cinema? The maximum output in cinemas is 2K. But why are we still shooting? Then the next thing is, if you're shooting on an 8K, you have an advantage of probably zooming in. But you can zoom in as far as probably 20% or 30% of it. Then what? So let's not get into all of it. Let's do what we are supposed to do as a filmmaker. So that's the best part about cinema. This is my job. That is a cinematographer. The third part is the art director's job. They are all doing their job. The filmmaker's job is to tell them what he wants, and they will blend into get all the things that will probably make make my story into a good film. That's it. So please don't get into the camera lensing and which lenses to buy. Even I have a camera I haven't used for 3 years. I use it and I use my mobile to shoot all my pictures.
All right. And how important is the role of lighting in filmmaking?
Role of lighting is very important in filmmaking, but how many of us really follow that is the point. Because practically, even while we make cinemas, it's always a deadline, and we always feel sorry for the cameraman because the rule of lighting is so important. As in somebody is sitting, in a wide shot, if there is a lamp on the right side of a person, so there should be shadow on the left side, and the moment we go close, probably we find that there was no place on the right side. Somebody places the camera on the left side. When you go close, the light is on the left side of the face. So it actually it is kind of very distracting. So the rule of lighting is very important, I would say, and that's where storyboarding comes in, and a good cinematographer. So, but I don't know how many of us really do give them enough time to do all this, and we do feel sorry for cameramen because most of the time, we just running behind schedule, and we really don't give them time. And then during the editing stages, you is the DOPs, who have to who look kind of red faced, but rule of lighting is actually very important, and we should really give importance to it, because that it gives the mood of the film, and which is so intrinsic to storytelling.
Okay. And what is the difference between shooting script and editing script?
Yeah, editing script is shooting script is basically, if I decide to shoot tomorrow, probably I have A actor who is ready to come tomorrow, and B actor, whose scene comes after, who has the seventh scene, and A actor who has first scene. If the actor who has the seventh scene who is ready tomorrow, probably he'll come and shoot tomorrow. So that's the shooting script for me, which is not in continuity. But for me, the editing script is the script that I wrote, and which I'll be using while editing the script. The shooting script is according to the availability of the location, according to the availability of the actors. These are two important aspects. So we make the script accordingly. So that's the difference.
All right. And is there any particular way to approach investors?
No, not at least in India. Not at least in India. There is a famous joke, if you have an investor, you become a director. So there is no particular, as such, no, we are not that. We haven't reached a stage, where we can talk of. Although a lot of crowdfunding thing happening, that's in bits and pieces online, um, because we don't have a good credibility badge on
All
our
right.
chest. So probably, and that's so it's not happening in India. The investor thing.
All right.
Not at least
And
in movies. Not at least in movies. We hope.
yeah. So we have another question coming up. Is it okay if we don't include a type of shots in the script?
Type of shot, as in, if you're talking about, yeah, again, see, cinema school will teach you. You start with a long shot, which is a master shot, and then we establish the characters with probably a mid-long shot or the mid shot, and then you want to show emotions, go close or go extra close. But um, that's a rule, but in reality, we don't actually follow all of that. You know, it all depends on what the director wants. And again, at the end of the day, if you have a good actor, you don't want to get away with the emotions. So directly, it's from a mid shot, probably one max to max, a 3 second, 4 second of master shot, and then you will cut to a mid and a close. When you have good actors on board, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity to to get those emotions. So there are no rules to it, but the standard rule is this. But again, you have to know the rules to break the rules. So this is the rule from a long to mid to close to extra close, and then then there is no end to it. You have a drone, or you have a tail away. You have so many shots of it, but you don't use it because you have money. You don't use a dolly because you have money, or a phantom, or you don't use this just because you have all these things. The producer has provided you with all these things. You use it because it is, probably it could add to the drama. Probably, if you think it is important to the narrative. So, just don't use it because लगा लो एक ट्रॉय लगा लो, and चलो shoot करते हैं. No, don't do it like that. So there, the director has to take a call, because you find a lot of movies when you have two good actors. It starts with mid and ends. There's one shot, but you could still feel the magic. You could still feel it. So it again, everything everything depends on the director. So he has to take a call.
Take two more questions now. So the one very important question which I got is, what's harder, getting started, or being able to keep going?
Being able to keep going. The first is, okay, you call it destiny. And then to keep going, to maintain that, that's actually tough, really tough, because you have to keep updating yourself. I've been around, it's close to 20 years now. So keep updating yourself, and then to be amongst the kids. Yeah, and they're so enthusiastic. Some of them are so good, and to be amongst them, to be making film amongst them, to be with them. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But yeah, I enjoy every bit of it.
All right. And the final and the last question: what advice and what tips you would like to give to our audience, who are the budding filmmakers?
Just believe in yourself. This is not some philosophical, narration. Just believe in yourself. There'll be people advising you. There are too many advisors in our industry. So if you believe in yourself, you will listen to them, but you will do it your way. And because ultimately it's your journey, and it's something that you chose to do, and so you only give a final touch to it. You decide your destiny. You chose your destiny. You decide your destiny. So you do it. You do it the way you want to. So you take all the advices but do what you want to. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And this is the best place to be in. And you can, probably 10 years down the line, you can look back and say, all right, and these things happen to me, these bad things happen to me. So whatever bad things happen to you, those were your choices, right? Those were your choices. So don't blame the industry. It's a beautiful industry. It's the best people around, and it's the safest place to be in. Take it from me. I've been around for 20 years. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people. Come, join, but most importantly, talk to yourself first whether I want to be in. If you are in, give me your 100%, 200%, and you will definitely get results. There will be ups, there will be downs. You won't get that, buzzer on your phone. 30th, you won't get your pagar. So you won't get that luxury. But yeah, there could be hard days also. But just keep believing in yourself, and I tell you, you will get results. That's it.
All right, Sanjay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
for
so
your
much.
time, and thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, you can directly write to us at youthopedia.in, and we would be happy to answer all of your questions. And also, please do not forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.